The infrastructure deal still needs to pass in the House of Representatives. But Speaker Nancy Pelosi is, as usual, playing politics. Pelosi has stated several times that she will not take up a vote on infrastructure until the reconciliation bill has also passed the House. Joining us now, New York Times bestselling author of the book Inside Trump's White House, The Real Story of His Presidency, and presidential historian Doug Wead. Doug, you have studied this for years, what bipartisanship really is. This is not bipartisanship.
Natalie, my experience in the White House was disappointing in this respect. These large bills that go through Congress are not strategic. There isn't a group of people that sit down and plan the next 20 years how this will impact the country. The number of pages in this bill, Natalie, stop and think of this. 2,700 pages. The Bible is 1,000 pages. What does that mean? It means that no person on earth has read this bill. They've read their 5 pages or 12 pages or the 6 pages that deal with them. For example, Planned Parenthood. They would have agonized over their 8 pages that they would get into their senator who would get it in that bill. And they would be very familiar, could quote those 8 pages, but there's no strategic sense of the total bill and how it will impact the country. You see that especially with all this money being thrown at climate change. I mean, you had AOC just 6 years ago saying that we have 10 years left, that the nation has 10 years left, and now 4 years left. But she's not saying that anymore. It remains 10 years. It keeps becoming another 10 years.
Right. And at the rate that they're spending, the country is going to be gone in 4 years because they just keep throwing money at everything. And the Republicans are complicit in this. The fact that the swamp is back on both sides, that they're getting something out of it, whether it's their own lobbying firms or their own lobbying people that are telling them to sign on to this, that's 17 Republicans that aren't looking to the will of the people, but the will of their donors.
Well, you're exactly right about that. You noticed in your report, you referred to the $450 billion that had been previously. Okay, that's been packaged. They've discussed that. And that includes a lot of nice little pieces of pork that brought all these senators together. So it's the additional $500 billion, much of which is going to Biden's buddies, people who voted for Biden and big corporations that have their lobby working overtime to get their money and get their allotments in. So it's that $450 billion that they've been working on for years that gets a lot of that pork through.
How bad is it going to get in the House now that Nancy Pelosi can add whatever she wants? They want this Green New Deal. They'll call it all kinds of names. But their goal really is to pass through socialism and some say even communism, which it is.
Yeah, and they're going to make an effort to do that. It stretches credulity. It's just incredible. I mean, they're talking about the world ending because of climate change. You know, just a couple of years ago, Harvard played Yale, and the students came out at halftime and flooded the infield and tried to shut down the game. Because here they are paying a fortune to go to school at Harvard where the professor tells them the world will end in 20 years. They're playing a football game and paying their coach $4 million a year with an extended 10-year contract. How are they going to play football if the world's going to end? So it is incredible, the money that they're throwing at some of these projects, and it benefits somebody.
You're right.
That's the tragedy. If they took the money and dumped it in the Potomac River, it wouldn't be so bad. But they spend it.
They spend it, Doug. It's so sad. And when you see the reports of billions of masks in the ocean, it's going to take 450 years for them to biodegrade. When you look at all this, they don't care about the people. And that's the sad thing about this. But Doug, thank you for what you're doing to expose this. We have to keep fighting against the narrative. God bless you. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, Natalie.